good morning, a beautiful welcome to everyone out there watching us. You're welcome to Women's Corner. You know what we do? We talk about women, empower women, and of course, once in a while, we bring topics to educate the women and, of course, give them the right direction. And at the same time, we try to make sure that you get in the right information when it comes to relationship and marriage, of course, from the women's perspective. But once in a while, we'll talk about children. We'll also talk about, the men, because we need them in our lives. Anyways, we're streaming live on Facebook at Galaxy TV, and you can just type in Galaxy TV Web to join us on Facebook, and Galaxy TV Entertainment to join us via Twitter. Also, you have a Google app. We have an app on Google Play Store and Apple Play Store, so you can just type in Galaxy TV and download the app and watch all of our live programs on Galaxy TV right there. Just for those who don't have a TV set beside them, this is for you. Okay, today is exciting because we have a chef in the house, but it's just funny how come everywhere is not scenting some very nice smell. She came just the way she is. But anyways, you must have seen some of her cooking tips where she was cooking different food, different type of delicacy basically, and she's good with what she has been doing this for a very long time. But before I introduce my guest, I know you want to see her, you want to meet her, but before I introduce my guest and tell you who she is, I want us to go for a short tips, and this tip is just to educate us and put us in line. It's still relating to food, so yes, today is all about food. So if you're a foodie, stick to your screen TV to enjoy this episode. Anyways, let's go for the tip and we'll right back to the studio to continue the program. Stay with us.
Cooking tips everyone should know. Always rinse your rice. Most types of rice have a thin layer of starch on the outside of each piece. If you don't rinse it, the rice might not absorb water properly. Some of the starches can also make the rice bitter. Also, rice often touches a lot of hands before it's bagged and placed in store shelves. Just like you should wash fruit and vegetables before cooking and eating, it's smart to give these petite grains a quick rinse. Cooking requires patience. Perhaps this is the most important cooking tip of all time. Cooking can be quick, but when it requires time, you need to let it happen. Let pans heat up properly before you add oil. Let oil heat up properly before you add food. Let food sit and brown evenly before you flip. You won't regret the time it takes when you see that delicious brown crust or charred bit, but you can't recreate it once you've rushed the process. Keep your knives sharp. In general, hone your knives after each use or every other use and sharpen them once a year. This makes cutting faster and easier on your wrist. Every time you use a knife, some of its teeth will be bent or misaligned. You hone the knife to fix them to return the teeth to their optimal position. Read the whole recipe first. That way, there are no surprises. You'll know in advance if you need to pre-melt or cook anything, or if there's something that needs to rest overnight. Prep and measure all ingredients first. Pre-chop vegetables and measure all the ingredients into small containers before you begin cooking. This can save you from forgetting ingredients or rushing around a frenzy while the stove is on. Don't crowd the pan. Whether you're searing meat or sauteing vegetables, leaving space between pieces allows them to brown and crisp. Crowding leads to soggy and steamed food. Clean as you go. You'll thank yourself later. It saves space, time, and muscle if you wash dishes as you use them, or at least soak them while you cook.
Welcome back. Yes, Sister Women. That tip is very interesting. And guess what? After getting such a good tip for cooking, Chef agreed with everything that I researched. So yes, I think I should become a chef too in the future. All right, so we have Tolulope Omobowoje. She's an entrepreneur. She's a head chef, Fruity and Juicy, catering outfit. She's also a pharmaceutical microbiologist. She's a woman empowerment advocate and also the convener of Incubate. She is also a minister. Good morning, Tolulope. How you doing?
I'm very well, thank you.
It's good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
You're looking chefy.
What does that even mean?
I don't know what that means. Okay, so I'm going to ask first. You even said something. Let me pick from the tip.
Okay.
You said something about frying. And I was trying to excuse myself, like, okay, I don't go through that process. Now, I just want to ask, I know it's away from what I'm supposed to ask you, but is it necessary that your pan or your pot has to be dry before you put in your oil to fry?
Very, very important. Most times when we wash pots, some people don't take their time to actually drain. So when you don't drain, you still have residue of water in it. So it's important that that water dries out. Then the pan is heated already, ready to receive your oil. And that's, you are able to avoid all those, what do we call it, splashes of oil when you introduce your oil into it. So it's also a safety tip. Aside from a cooking tip.
Important. Really? Yeah. Wow, that's nice. I never knew the water actually makes it splash.
Oh,
I thought it was just
it's just so.
Oh, okay. I told you I was going to become a chef. But anyway, so let's hear your story. How did you get to become it? Because I know first you must like the kitchen. You must like cooking. For anyone to be a chef, must definitely like. Maybe they are not a foodie basically, but they like that. So what's your story?
Yeah. Well, for me, I've always loved food. My mom would tell me as a child, you can eat. And sometimes I'm picky with food, even as a child. So I come from a family where my grandmom, she's loved cooking all her life. At least a week in the house, in our village, she must cook and send food out to people. It was something that she really, really loved to do. And they had the facility for it. So it was easier for them to cook. And then my dad was a major politician. My grandfather was a major politician, so it was always easy for her to cook and all of that. So my mom also is someone that likes to cook and all of that. So for me, as an only daughter, it was just imperative. It was an automatic thing that you must cook. So I just picked up cooking. I enjoy cooking. I can cook, but don't tell me to come and wash clothes. Don't tell me to come and sweep. But I can be all day in the kitchen. So that's basically the foundation for me. Then going into cooking as a business, it was nothing I ever envisaged. I never thought I would do business
really with cooking
out of food. No. So I basically started my catering business from fruits. So as a microbiologist, I've always loved pharmaceutical microbiology. I did my IT back then in NAFDAC. So going into that IT process and all, it made me become so interested about drugs, how they work and all of that. And in school I got to understand that plants have phytonutrients. Most of our drugs, they are plant-based. So I just wanted to go that line. I didn't think I was going to do food. But along the line, I got through school and my mom was here. And so having that knowledge of the power and the nutrients in fruits and vegetables, I just started juicing. I just started with carrot juicing, and I saw how well it was working. It was really, really helping her health. She was improving. She was looking better. And I was like, so if fruits really have this power, these nutrients, you don't have to do drugs. Why not? And so that was how I made a business out of it. So I started in church. I would juice overnight, I would bottle, I would take to church. And it continued like that. And then along the line, there was an empowerment program in church. My husband is a pastor. So we're asked to, just hand out a form to people who wanted to be empowered. And so my husband was supposed to take those people to the province for that program, and he was not available. So he told me to take them. And so when we got to that short conference, I just sat at the back and people were coming like, mommy, good afternoon, mommy. And people were just, how that church said, people were just hello to me. And the people I brought were already engaging in the entire thing. So after a while, after the conference, there was a breakout session where they were going to, it was just a short time, go to those places that the skill you want to learn. And I just sat down inside that hall and I was like, everyone has gone out. And I thought to myself, You want to do pastor wife? Opportunity for you to learn a skill. You are sitting down here, and it just came to me. I was like, you already know fruit juices. You already know how to cook. So why don't you use this opportunity to just... So I looked at the list of skills that were there to learn, and I saw small chops and cocktail. So I went there and I sat down because I had the pre-knowledge. I was able to engage, and so my name was penned down. And even I even penned down, she's like, what are you doing here? I said, mommy, I came to learn as well. And that was it. And I didn't, because I didn't feel the pre-form.
Okay.
So I think a few weeks after, we went to camp, and the then second admin of the province was quite close to my husband, so we went with him, and he was like, they were just talking about that program. He was like, pastor, did your wife even fill the form for this? And I was like, I didn't feel. He was like, it's important to that, because the church will actually empower those people that they pick out to train. I was like, oh, okay. So he told my husband to come to the office. He picked the form, I filled it, and he returned it. And a few months after, I got a call that I had been picked as one of those who they were going to empower to learn small chops, and that was it. And that's how I started the business. And for me, it's been not like I dabbled into it, but it's been people creating opportunities for me. For you. I always tell people, I always tell people that I have the gift of humans. I have the gift of beautiful people around me. So but I basically do small chops. So I've been doing small chops for the parishes and a few, parishes and areas around us. And then one day, my zonal mommy calls me and says, Statoli, you can cook now. I said yes. She said, but it's small chops that we know that we've been patronizing you, but you can cook jollof rice for us now. You can. I said yes, and that was it. And that was how I got my first major gig to actually cater for 310 people. And from there on, we just took it. Wow. That's how I came in.
What was the feedback like when you finished cooking?
For me, the food was really nice, but we got late. So there's so many things that, so many factors that come together to actually build a business. You cannot just be a very good cook. You can't get ready good food and don't have other factors to it. So the food was nice, everything was good, but food got there late. So the focus was on that lateness of the food. It was much later when the entire thing had doused down. They are giving people food and all of that. I was now hearing, the food was nice, so thank you very much. But the focus at that time was on the lateness. And afterwards, because the food was good, I got other gigs going forward. And from there, I saw other pastors' wives who were interested, and I got that job, some friends. I started posting, and that was how it went.
Oh, amazing. What a nice story. What a nice story. Anyways, because she's in the studio, let's quickly watch some of her clips where, she was preparing small chops. I hope you don't get hungry while just watching this video. I'm apologizing ahead, because definitely you might see some things that we know will attract you and you feel like just chewing. But of course she's here, so you can always get her contact through. Also you can support, and of course it's more like an empowerment too when you actually give her a gig. Anyways, let's quickly watch some of her videos and pictures of some of the things that she has done and the magic she has performed in the kitchen. We'll be right back.
To do, but I was persistent. If you're persistent, one day, and by the faithfulness of God and by the mercies of God, it will just happen for you. You have to be persistent and then consistent. So many young people are persistent, but they're not consistent. Consistency has to do with that thing that you're persistent on. Be consistent on it. Don't try too many things at the same time. Focus on your area of strength. Develop that area of strength. Keep going on and on about it, and then keep developing yourself on that particular thing. Once you're consistent and persistent at the same time, you will get there. But after a while, we grew, we expanded to small chops.
Welcome back. You just watched Tolulope Omobowoje's some of her compilation videos of where she was doing her thing and performing her magic. She's still with us in the studio. We still have questions on cooking for her. Okay, I want to ask this question. Let's talk about vegetable oil. A lot of people believe every kind of vegetable oil is the wrong kind of vegetable oil except the olive oil. What's your take on that?
For me, that's just the honest truth.
Really?
There are several oils in the market, and people are just out to make money. And so there are so many forms of adulterated oil in the market. Even those that are supposedly supposed to be healthy are now adulterated. So olive oil is like the safest.
You know, someone was saying something. They said olive oil is the safest, but the place where you can get olive oil is at the pharmacy.
It's expensive,
and it's very expensive.
And it's better to be safe
than sorry.
But in business, you know, there are a lot of safe oils actually. Well, then olive oil is safe.
It's safer.
But, and we can't really just incorporate all of that fully in business.
Of course, yes.
It's a large
very
scale.
expensive. Yes. Okay, let's talk about fruits and vegetables. You said something that you always, you know, you were making was fruity and juicy. That I think that's where it came from. So now, for people who want to, you know, some persons are not so good with fruits, but they want to know which one is better for them to take. Fat, slim, you know, it's just healthy. It helps with how I put it, your metabolism. Detoxifying, metabolic. It helps your metabolism, like to digest
improves
things.
The rate of your metabolism,
What vegetable and fruits would you actually advise them to take?
Very important. Just ensure that you add greens to your vegetables. Greens, you know, they are cleansers. They are detoxifiers. So fruits, vegetables, basically cucumber. You know, myself and yourself, we were talking earlier. Garden egg is everywhere.
Yes,
it's very rampant, and people just don't know the benefit in it. You know, the fiber and everything helps to cleanse your system. It has a way of curtailing your appetite.
Yes.
So even if you don't have money to buy avocado, you don't have money to buy broccoli and all of those big names. Very accessible.
Very accessible, actually. I really like garden egg. I do not know why, but I love garden egg. Then there's this other garden egg, the very small one that has its leaves still attached. I don't know if you...
Okay. Oh, that they use for abacha.
Abacha, yes, true.
I think they're just premature.
Oh, really? They're premature?
I really don't know.
That was how it was.
I really don't know about that. I really don't know about that.
Okay. All right, so let's talk about cooking now. Let's talk about cooking. A lot of people believe that... okay, yes, we know that chicken has more fat than turkey, but some persons believe that it's not good to use you know, we know Africans, there's no way you want to cook jollof rice, you will not use the water in which you use in boiling the meat. But some persons say it's not hygienic using that same water used in boiling your meat.
So all that rich flavor, I should just throw it away. No. from the cooking point of view, because we're trying to, you know, harness all the flavor and all of that. I cannot do my chicken water away. But I think what I basically do is, when I realize, of course, you're going to cook your chicken before you start cooking your jollof rice. Stating jollof rice as an example. So when I realize that after cooking this chicken, I can see the level of fat in that broth, that cooking water. What I basically just do is to reduce the quantity of oil I'm going to use to fry my sauce. So at the end of that, you're not having to, your rice is not too oily and all of that. So that's what I do. But you can't tell a girl to throw away all that water. That is rich nutrients that's going to make that patty jollof rice, you know, give all of that flavor.
Okay, all right. Yes, let's move a little bit away from cooking. Let's go to your pharmaceutical microbiologist. So, first, how long have you been doing this now, the cooking thing?
So I started Fruity and Juicy in 2013.
Ooh.
Yeah, and it became, we moved up to cooking and all of that in 2015. So that's roughly about 11 years.
Wow, that's a very, very long time.
But here's the funny thing, because I didn't find myself, I never planned to do business. When people see me, or my friends, or anyone that sees me thinks of me as a professional person. So I didn't make up my mind to do business. So at some point I will withdraw, still look for this corporate job, do it for a while. Oh, it's taking my time, run away, and then come back. So I'll be in and out and all of that.
Wow, that's interesting. Okay, so about cooking before we go to pharmaceutical microbiology. Basically, I know it's something you love to do, which is cooking, and it's something that you always want to train people who are very interested.
Yes.
But I want to ask, how were you able to mix that with, being married, being a minister, and at the same time, like you just said, your career path, which is microbiology? How were you able to mix all of that together?
I cannot talk about my life and my business and my person, excluding my husband. Some persons around me are already tired. Anytime your husband. But that's the honest truth. I still said to him this morning that I am thriving because of him. Because he plays a major role in all that I do. There are several things that I want to really venture into, and I know that if I don't consult him and he's not in on it, I may not be able to fly it. Because he's a major support system, honestly. My husband is many things. I tease him. I'll tell him that you are my driver, you are my support staff, you are my project manager, you are my... He's many things. And it's just basically the reason I'm able to cope up with everything. Because even, coming to eventually starting a career in microbiology, he was the one that pushed me, because he also didn't ever think that I would cook, right? So seeing that the stress and the toll cooking was taken on me, and he just, baby, you have a good certificate now, don't just let this thing go. It got to some point my mom used to fight him. My mom has this opinion that the reason why you're not pursuing a career is because of your husband. He's not allowing you to. And I will look at her like, I wish you know how much this man even wants me to get a job. Do you understand? So for getting this job or starting a career path, it was basically my husband. There was a convention came up at work some time ago, and I didn't have my resume, and I had to tell someone that it was my husband that applied for this job. And they're like, really? I said yes. Because when the job came, I said, look at my business. I know what I make from my business. I know the time it affords me. The day I'm too tired, I come from an event and I don't want these people to open my shop, I will say I'm not going to work. But I will now start a 9 to 5. There is no how he's not going to collapse my business. So he said, don't worry. He was just too sure, because I didn't get to start this career 10 years till after I've had the certificate. So he was like, can it really happen? I've not, because I've never really been in a corporate job that is in my field. This is the first. So I was like, all those books that I read, if they begin to ask me interview questions, how will I respond? Well, he just has this much faith in me, so he kept pushing me. Madam, apply. I said, yeah, if you apply now, no problem. And he applied. We went to Congress and we came back on that Saturday, and I was going through my phone. I saw the email, and they're like, I should take an assessment before Monday. And I said, he has taken. I said, let me read first. Which book do you want to read? Madam, I attempted it, and then I got my result. And he was like, don't worry, they will call you. And true to it, they called me, and then I had an online interview, and it went so well. It was actually a very seamless interview, and then we proceeded to having the on-site interview, and that was it. I say I have the gift of people. Okay. Because when I look at how I got that job and all, there were people that God had placed, on my path to help me. And so for the simplest of responses that I had on that interview board, they were like, okay, I told them I don't have experience, but I have been in front of fire, and I think I want to step back from that fire. And they all laughed, and that was it. And I really didn't expect much from it, but God came through. And since then, when the opportunity eventually came and they employed me, I said, okay, how are we going to fly my business? Because there will be days that, okay, that means now I can't have an everyday shop anymore. So I had to close my restaurant. So there will be days that I have an order, I have events, I have to make deliveries. How are we going to do it? My husband is a pastor, always very busy. He will tell you, don't worry, just let me know ahead. Don't rush me into anything suddenly. And so we can plan. And he's been very supportive. Wow. Very, very supportive. That's amazing. I love your story. It's very interesting. The most interesting part is where you said you have this this gift of humans. And of course, it's another beautiful angle to say that your husband is very supportive. Like you said, for every 5 statement, your husband is mentioned. And that is beautiful. A lot of people do not get that. So that is a
Free gift from God. Take it from me. Okay, now one last question on cooking. What was the worst feedback you ever got, and how did you handle it?
I can't forget. I can't forget because someone had linked me up to a proprietress. So on Incubate, my women platform. So she had ordered small chops, I can't remember, and it was nice. So it was safe to introduce me to our boss, which she did. And the first order was magnificent. It was not, I have this idea, I don't like to make excuses. So when that job came, I wasn't even at home. I was in reading camp. So I had to look around. What are the things that I need? And we had to buy pastry pan and I delivered that job. And it was beautiful. So having enjoyed that, it was, I think, our father's burial. The proprietress was having a father's burial, and so she thought, oh, okay, this lady small chops is nice. Let me contract her. And that was how she contracted us for 300 servings of chops.
Wow.
Beautiful. It was nice. But at that same day, I also, one of our areas, I think they had an area then, or his zone, I can't remember. We do chops for them Tuesday, Wednesdays. We were delivering 50 packs of chops every Tuesday, every Wednesday. They said Monday and Tuesday. So I did not know that while we were on that event venue, my guys did not keep the spring roll and samosa we were going to later fry to deliver that evening service in the cooler. So it went bad.
Whoa.
It went sad. By the time they fried it, I didn't even know. We just packed, everything was fine. And then I myself, I had to fly bike. It was at the Ojoju Beggar. I flew bike. Then Go-Kada was really still in place. So I took Go-Kada all the way to Lekki Phase 1. And I delivered the chops. Feeling so fulfilled. I'm like, everything has happened well today. Only for, by the time I was on my way back home, I got a call. Oh, they called my husband actually, the admin. Pastor, mommy delivered chops for us today. People could not eat it. They were just returning it. It's sad. None of that. Like, my head was just, hard work that we've done, you know. I was like, God, what's going on? So I was like, oh, I apologize. I will make it up. We are delivered Mondays. So this was Tuesday. So I'm like, oh, I have to find a way to make it up. And I called the pastor, I called people, I pleaded and all of that. And because they've been eating my chops over time, so they knew that this was, what was wrong. So I had to just make it up to them. So the following week, I told them that we were going to deliver the chops. So it's like, we didn't deliver this one. So they didn't have to pay for the 2 deliveries the following day. And that was it. And like I said, I have the gift of people. And I don't know, I just always, my relationship skills, I think I'm not doing so badly. So, because I begged, I pleaded, I called, you know, that day and the days after and all of that until I did that delivery and I did extras, you know, and that experience was terrible for me. And I think I have another one.
Okay.
You know, show promoters. So I had met up with this show promoter, I think the year before. Someone linked me up and I sold cocktails at their comedy show, wherever, and I made money. And I didn't support with anything. So I think 2 years after, he now reached out to me that, now how many chops will I use to support? I said, okay, I'll do 100 chops to support the table sets and all of that. And we had an agreement, and I already budgeted how much small chops I will sell, how much I will sell the small chops. And, you know, and I was ready. Saturday, my husband said, babe, we are going to church early. I said, don't worry. I was ready. Only for us to get to the venue, I had set up and all of that. And then somebody comes to meet me that the manager of that building wants to see me. So I went to him and was like, why are you setting up cocktail? That the owner of the event hall, I know that they're the ones who are going to be doing cocktail. I actually saw them setting up that they want to see my price list. By the time I gave them my price list, it was contradicting theirs. So they knew that they knew I was going to sell more. So he called the show promoter guy. What's up? And the guy was telling me that he told me I should hold on. I said, okay. I brought out my charts. You didn't tell me at any point that there was any issue, any whatsoever. So my husband can be very patient. So my husband was like, you guys should pack up, let's go. I said, what will I do with 300 small chops? So the manager of the event was, okay, can we buy off what you have purchased and you give us your guys to do the job? Let's just pay you. I said, at all, now you bad pass. The money I spend, money I give me. This show promoter guy, he said no, that they shouldn't worry, he will take care of me, he will fix me up. Maybe till tomorrow, if he fixes me up. So my husband was like, just let's go. Packed everything. And at that point, in my area, there was no good night. So I said, babe, what are we going to do with this? He said, the cocktails, the drinks, you can still keep them and use them later. I said, this much of this chicken and everything that we said, we'll wake up early. We'll fry them, we'll pack them. I said to where? He said to church. I said, And that was it. We packed everything and we gave it out. It was really so painful. Because you know why? There was a job I had the following week that I used the money to do that job. Oh. But you know the beautiful thing? Before the close of Sunday, some people that left church with 3 packs, people in our community, in the church community, they were calling themselves, and they share something for church. So people were coming and, But before service ended that day, apparently the usher in our zone had been trying to call my husband. He didn't have my number. So my husband had missed calls. So when we're driving out, my husband picked his call. Like, Pastor, I've been trying to reach you. I need to see your wife. Mommy says she should come to the zone. We have a check for her. I'm like, check? How? He said, can you come program that is coming up? They want her to cook. That was how I recovered. How you covered everything. And more. Ooh, hey, those 2 experiences I can't forget. That was a blessing in disguise. I'm telling you, it's a blessing in disguise. True that. Woo, interesting story. This is one of our beautiful stories we've had, success stories. And Tolulope, of course, is putting so much smiles on my face today. I'm excited she came to the studio and not the Zoom. It would have been this interesting if it was Zoom, obviously. Anyways, before we let Tolulope go, let's quickly go for one more health tip. This is just to prevent yourself from having diabetes. Yes, you might not have it. It's not hereditary. Like if you don't have it like from hereditary or maybe gene, your family, you can still go diabetic if you do not take care. So this is just for people to stay healthy and to avoid things that will make you, maybe you'll be prone to having diabetes. I think, let me put it that way. So let's quickly go for tips to prevent everyone from getting diabetics and of course to stay healthy. We'll be right back to the studio to wrap up the show, and maybe we'll be having one more question for Tolulope before she goes. Stay with us.
Tips to prevent diabetes and stay healthy. Processing from pre-diabetes to diabetes isn't inevitable. Although you can't change certain factors like your genes or age, several lifestyles and dietary modification may reduce your risk. Type 2 diabetes is a chronic medical condition that affects millions of people worldwide. Unmanaged diabetes may lead to blindness, kidney failure, heart disease, and other serious conditions. Here are some tips to help prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Maintain a healthy weight. Losing 5 to 7% of your body weight can help prevent or delay diabetes. Eat healthy. Eat a variety of foods from each food group, including whole grains, fruits, and vegetables. Limit red meat and processed meats, and choose foods low in saturated fats, trans fats, cholesterol, salt, and added sugar. Exercise regularly. Get at least 30 minutes of physical activity 5 days a week. Try to lose excess weight. Stay hydrated. Drink water instead of sugary drinks like soda, juice, sports drinks, and sweetened coffees and teas. Sleep well. Get at least 7 hours of sleep each night. Minimize your intake of highly processed food. Quit smoking. Smoking can increase your risk of developing diabetes. Track your blood sugar. Keep track of your blood sugar to see what makes it go up or down. Optimize your vitamin D levels. Eat at regular times. Eat at regular times and don't skip meals. Take care of wounds. Diabetes can slow healing and increase your risk of infection, so treat cuts and scrapes quickly. Check your feet daily for blisters, cuts, sores, redness, or swelling. Talk to a doctor. If you have pre-diabetes, talk to a doctor about lifestyle changes that can help prevent you from developing diabetes. Meanwhile, here are the 6 natural ways to prevent diabetes before it starts. 1. Cut sugar and refined carbohydrates from your diet. Instead of eating unhealthy carbs, why not substitute them with more fiber and proteins? Meat, fish, eggs, and vegetables are great foods to choose from. You can check online for some amazingly delicious and healthy recipes from these foods. Eat fiber. 2. Quit smoking if you are a current tobacco user and reduce alcohol. Watch your portions. Reduce sedentary life. It is easy to live a sedentary life, especially if you work an office or you are always home. Research has shown that sedentary life causes between 4 to 5 million deaths globally. Apart from death, staying inactive for a long time causes cancer, diabetes, heart disease, or stroke. 5. Drink water. No matter how plain or boring water may seem, drinking a lot may reduce your chances of developing type 2 diabetes. Exercise regularly.
Welcome back. Yes, this is the end of today's episode on Women's Corner. But before I let Tolulope Omobowoje go, what do you have anything to say to your fans, your people? Like you said, you just have this love for human beings, and humans just like have this love for you too. So what would you have to say to them very quickly before we go?
All right. Let's just always understand that in life there is no single entity. We all need the support of people around us. So, and for people to be able to warmly receive you, you have to be a good person by yourself. Always shun anything that is selfishness. Be open to people, be open to learning, be humble. Just make yourself readily available to take in people, to take in knowledge, and people will always just help you. Yes.
Okay, all right, then that's it from Tolulope Omobowoje. She's an entrepreneur, the head chef of Fruity and Juicy Catering Outfit. She's also a pharmaceutical microbiologist, a women empowerment advocate, the convener of Incubate. She's also a minister and a lover of people, and people love her. Thank you so much for coming today.
Thank you
on
so
the
much
show.
for
Thank
having
you.
me.
We really enjoyed your success story, and it's a beautiful one, I must say.
Thank you.
Okay, I hope you enjoyed the program too.
I did.
Great. So if we call you again to come
yes,
and
so
talk about food and microbiology. All right. Anyways, that's it today. My name is Rose Blossom.